Did you have an idea of what you were going to do? Did you have a plan, or did you just kind of move out?
Well, I just moved out. I mean, I left. I was planning to leave alone, and one of the women I was living with said, "You're not going without me."
That was Sam.
That was Samantha, a vicious little girl. And so, you know, rather than have Sam and the Army after me, I took her with me. It was a wise choice.
Okay. And at one point, you said you even had to hide under a cardboard box to...
Well, you know, ever since I had run afoul of the government back in May, they had been harassing me. You know, I have in the audience today a gentleman named Chad Esley, who was with me in Belize at that time, who can verify. Every day the Coast Guard would come and park in front of my house. They would send their soldiers out, then they would march up and down in front of my house, looking at me very arrogantly and with hostility every single day, just trying to make me become frightened. We simply had a running war. So I was preparing for anything. You know, I had more hiding places around that property and on San Pedro than you could possibly imagine. One of them was, in fact, a hole in the sand that had been covered with plywood, sand packed on top of that, and a little tiny box on top of that where I could put my head. Then on top of that, I'd piled old wood, paint cans, garbage of every sort. I was there for 24 hours while the police were no more than 5 feet from my head. No one bothered to look under the box.
Interesting. So at some point, you decided that you needed to create a diversion yes, please, to get the press to believe that you were headed in one direction when in fact you were headed in another. Do you feel bad about that? Does that, do you have second thoughts about?
No, I don't feel bad about that at all. I mean, I felt my life was in danger, and I'm convinced it was. I had every single day written notices to some press somewhere. I had started a blog, and it had devastated the tourist industry in Belize. Tourism accounted for 70% of the Belizean gross national product. It dropped by 50% after I started my blog. They just wanted me out of their way. Mm. So call that paranoid, call it not, I don't care. It's what was actually happening. Okay, the diversion tactic. All of the borders had, I was the #1, every single Army officer and soldier and every policeman in the country had my photograph. And there was a bounty. And they had blocked all of the borders. However, the Belizeans, you know, are just very strange people. They tend to hire, for example, a policeman gets $42 a month, US. Now from that, he's got to feed his family, send his children to school, pay his rent, and so on. It is not much money. Mm. So not the smartest people take those jobs. And I knew another thing, that there's a sort of laziness within the official part of the government, so that when it rained, for example, I have never seen a checkpoint operating in the rain. I'm not going to get wet for $42 a month, and neither are they. So I was following the weather reports, and I saw rain coming in great quantities on a Wednesday morning. I made my plan to leave that day, and on a Tuesday evening, I spread rumors through my friends that I had escaped across the northern border and had been arrested in the Mexican town of Union. Mm-hmm. Well, Union has no telephones, and I knew it could not be verified for at least 2 days. And believe it or not, the Coast Guard and everybody abandoned the southern borders, ran to the northern borders, and I just waltzed across the southern border with a retinue of employee and young girls. Now, how difficult was that?
Yeah.